my talk today, Llama Loot Box. My name is Kim Lee. I'm from Adelaide, South Australia. I'm a child and adolescent psychiatrist, and I dedicate one morning per week seeing children with referrals for gambling disorder from GPs and paediatricians. And the purpose of this talk is to, who else is a clinician here that sees children or adolescents? Yeah, excellent. So I just want to make it clear that the purpose of today is for you to consider exploring game design and how this relates to your patient's playing style, and then hopefully that develops some insight into a pattern of behaviour online and then offline as well. And we all know the cognitive triangle where your thoughts, emotions can influence your behaviour. But what about the gaming triangle? How does the game design and the gaming culture influence a player's behaviour online and offline? And of course, our children and the patients we work with are the experts. And so what I did was, this is Ethan, that's not his real name. He's 13 years old, he's one of my patients. Last week I saw him prior to leaving Australia, and I showed him my talk, and he actually helped rewrite the whole talk for me. But Ethan is on the autism spectrum. He loves collecting tic-tac boxes and wrappers, and he has a strange relationship with his father because his parents are separated, and his father doesn't allow his Xbox at his house when he visits. And since he had an abstinence from Fortnite, there have been less meltdowns and aggression. And yeah, he helped me with this talk today. So Epic Games is a publisher of Fortnite. I'm using Fortnite as the example today. Epic Games make $300 million per month with this game. And this is Lachlan. He's one of the most popular YouTubers from Australia. He's worth $9 million. He makes YouTube videos about Fortnite, and he makes about $20,000 per day with his videos, which attract, as you can see, over 9 million views on the season battle pass that he unlocked. So this is Bushnell's law. Nolan Bushnell invented the Atari, and he said all the best games are easy to learn and difficult to master. They should reward the first quarter and the 100th, and many game designers and publishing companies use this as their motto. So how come Fortnite is so popular? We all know that B.S. Skinner was able to get any wrap. I got this one from IKEA. Travelled all the way from Australia. You could train that wrap to continuously press a button for a randomised reward, and we know that loot boxes use the variable ratio schedule in online games. And a lot of my patients, when I talk about the dangers of the games they play, they say everyone else is playing it, and all the other kids are playing it, and everyone's lining up to play Fortnite. So does Fortnite have better loot boxes? You could argue that because they've maybe polished the loot box, or they've got a more advanced variable ratio schedule, it makes it more popular. But I think it's much more than that. And this is Celia Hodent. She's the former lead of user experience for Fortnite, and she's actually a psychologist with a PhD. And she talks about good user experience is usability and engageability. And I think the engageability word is actually a euphemism for addiction in game design speak. And this is a video about, so in Fortnite, the loot boxes are the llama pinatas, or the loot llamas, and this is a video of her explaining how they designed.
When you buy a loot box, it's not just you click and you open it and you get all the stuff in there, all the cards that you wanted, for example, like in a card pack. In Fortnite, the game feel is very polished in there. For example, the card back looks like a pinata, which is a metaphor that's fit well the world of Fortnite. It's cute, it's fun, and if you're playing on PC, if you move the mouse around, you're going to see the eye of the llama actually following your mouse. This is making the interaction more fun. Also, when you're about to hit the pinata, you're going to see the eye of the llama squinting. It's reacting to what you're doing. Of course, it's talking to you. Once you open the pinata, there's a celebration, and the pinata is still talking to you. All of that is about game feel, making it fun to interact with a specific system or feature.
The Australian government recently held a Senate inquiry into whether loot boxes should be banned, and we all know that the Netherlands and Belgium have banned loot boxes. But the Australian government did not consider loot boxes as a form of gambling, and this was based on the current Australian definition of gambling, because the virtual rewards in games like Fortnite cannot be exchanged for monetary value. But if you look up skins in Fortnite, you'll see many videos saying $300 skin, $600 skin, and this is because you get a special skin if you buy a physical product like an Xbox. You might already have an Xbox, but you'll go out and fork out $300 to get the skin, and then you give away the Xbox because you don't need it, or a brand new Samsung just to get a special skin. Fortnite are masters of linear progression, and as you can see here, there are daily challenges, and then with a battle pass, you get a different set of challenges every single week. And this is an example of a Fortnite skin, and each challenge gives you a different variation of that same skin, and you essentially get the maximum tier or the best skin in the game based on how many experience points you have, or whatever challenge they set. So what is the purpose of a Fortnite skin? Skins are intangible objects or rewards. They provide cosmetic value, they have no advantage in the game. If skins were tangible, some players would have an unfair advantage. Players with more money would be able to buy better guns and weapons or armour. So to keep it fair, these skins are intangible, but you can get different variations of them, and they act as a badge or mark of progression. Also, Celia Hodent talks about the expression of oneself and autonomy. And she also has a book called The Gamer's Brain, which is very popular amongst game designers. So what's so good about the best skin in Fortnite, or the Tier 100 skin? Well, this is a picture of a 1990s Air Max shoe, and I remember in primary school, I really loved the Air Max shoe. I wanted the best Air Max, and there were different versions of it based on how big the bubble was, based on how much money you had in your pocket. And you could say that in Fortnite, we have the same skins, but based on how much experience you have, you will get the best version of that skin. So once you max out the level 100 skin, you actually then start to get the colour variations. And as you can see, here's the famous Air Max 1 with different, they're all the same shoe, but different colours. And as you can see, there are different ways you can get the different colours. So they mix it up. There's a lot of variation in how you can achieve it, so it doesn't get boring. And Ethan actually, so whenever you see a picture of Ethan in a slide, he's actually specifically helped me and explained to me what happened. So he explained to me what Fort Bites were. There's another form of reward in the latest Season 9 Battle Pass. And he also explained to me that you can actually buy the tier, so you can actually get a shortcut and skip to the best 100 tier by spending virtual bucks or V-Bucks. To get 100 tiers, you need 15,000 V-Bucks, which equates to about $100 US for that privilege. He also mentioned that if you play with your friends, you get a friend XP, which means that you get extra experience points if you play with your circle of friends, and if they all have bought the Battle Pass. So it encourages you and your friends to encourage each other to spend money. There are also what they call double XP events on weekends, and his mother actually said to me that for years they've had problems with the double XP weekend because he would always fall on the weekend he was visiting his father. So naturally, he never wanted to visit his father because his father was very strict about his gambling, and so that actually interfered with his relationship with his father. And then when we did the detox, he actually explained to me that he actually spent some time with his father playing darts, and I just explored that with him. I said, "What led you to play darts with your father?" He said, "I felt bored." And I was like, "Isn't that interesting? Isn't that fascinating? You never felt bored before because you've always either been playing games and not physically with your father." And there's a new Fortnite Battle Pass every 10 weeks. And I'll just introduce to you game critters who Cam and Dara is going to speak in the next speech. This is their forum. I actually use this forum quite a lot to do searches, so I'll just put Fortnite in the search box and and I can find journal entries from other players who play Fortnite who are struggling with quitting Fortnite specifically. So this is a journal entry of a user from Game Critters talking about how battle passes triggered him to get cravings. He talks about everyone's chatting about the new map, the new battle pass in Fortnite, in school and online. I've got physical stress building up and from this goddamn game, and I never thought this would happen. Hell, I wasn't even sure if I had a problem with my game until a few days ago. Don't know what to do. Help. So it's kind of like a new milestone every 10 weeks. If you've had a break from the gaming, a new battle pass will come out, and then all your friends who used to play with will tell you, oh, they'll remind you that new battle pass is coming out, which will trigger you to buy it, or buy the next battle pass and to continue playing. So how does a battle pass work? This is the Fortnite explanation of battle passes. Play to level up your battle pass. The more you play, the more rewards you earn. Level up faster by completing weekly challenges. Earn more than 100 rewards worth 25,000 V-Bucks, typically taking 75 to 100 hours of play. You can purchase a battle pass anytime during the season for 950 V-Bucks. So what happens? Essentially what happens is you agree to a contract, which is worth $10, and you sign up to work essentially $2.50 per hour to earn these rewards. And Lachlan in his video talks about free V-Bucks. If you have a battle pass, you get free V-Bucks. Grind it up, you'll get a free battle pass forever. So there is a clause within the battle pass contract which says if you earn the rewards, you can actually earn your next battle pass for free. So for a lot of young players, they go, oh yeah, if I complete all the challenges, I can earn my next battle pass for free. But then Ethan said to me, but there is a caveat with this contract. For each challenge, you can earn 100 V-Bucks. There's 10 challenges in total over 10 weeks. And you will get the next battle pass for free if you don't spend those V-Bucks. So if you don't touch the V-Bucks, they'll give it to you at the end. But of course, as we know, most kids, most adolescents, their brains are not quite developed yet, and they're quite impulsive, especially kids with ADHD or having difficulty with impulse control. They will spend that on skin straight away. So then they're forced to pay physical money for the next battle pass. And so finally, I'm just going to finish up with this part of my talk. Fortnite caters for all player types, and game designers have this concept called the churn. It essentially means players leaving the game, and as a game designer, you want to minimize this churn, people entering the game and leaving the game. And traditionally, game designers have catered for what we call the Richard Bartle player types to make sure that you have an online community. And he talks about these four profiles of players. So for example, if you had a game that was completely full of killers, if Fortnite had very aggressive players who like to dominate, have power and bully people, and I was a casual player and I entered this game, then I would probably leave the game straight away because I had no chance of competing against them. So you need to have the balance of all these player types so that people can enjoy the game. Now Fortnite has polished this down to a T. So over the 9 seasons, they've essentially adapted the game, the map, to include smaller, different sections on a larger map. So for example, Ethan explains to me there's a fire section, the dark green section, a desert where you get better rewards, and then there's snow where pretty much no one ever bothers going there because it's too hard to play in that area. But there's a concept in the game called the storm, which essentially gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and if you are in the purple section, you get damaged. So what happens is it forces the players to all converge at the end of the game in a different phase. And Celia Hodent describes this as pressure, it's friction, it makes the game more exciting. So it creates different phases in the game. And this game design feature actually caters for the hardcore players and the casual players. So when I was playing this game, I was able to learn about the game and freely move around without getting killed by these hardcore players until the end of the game. So what happens is, because all the hardcore players, they go to, say for example, might go to that red zone there, they will actually kill each other off, and they'll actually feel quite satisfied that they've played a good game. And sorry, I didn't explain to you. So Fortnite has 100 players, and they all converge at the end, and last man standing, right? So all the hardcore players will go to one specific section to fight over the randomized rewards, the high rewards in that section, and then the other casual players, socializers, explorers, people like Ethan, who said to me he wasn't actually very good at Fortnite, despite spending hundreds of hours playing this game. He said he wasn't actually that skillful, but he was always very proud that he could make it into the top 5 or the top 20 players, because he essentially roamed around, avoided the killer players, and then at the end he would still be one of the top players remaining. So Fortnite itself becomes the ultimate randomized reward. It's not just the loot llamas in the game. It becomes a randomized game because you don't know, no matter how good or bad you are at the game, you never can predict the outcome of the game. And this keeps players coming back for one more time. Now I just want to thank the people from Singapore here today. I did a fellowship there in 2015 and worked in the Internet Addiction Clinic. Just to finish up, we wrote a commentary based on the gambling addicts there, and we found that they played pretty much strategy-based games, played daily, and had a mean game time of 45 hours per week. These were people who were seeking treatment. And also I want to thank the Korean Llama Center here in Japan, who gave a speech 2 years ago at the JSPN. So thank you so much, guys, for paying attention.
Thank you for that really interesting talk. Now we have time for a couple of questions.
Sure, yeah.
Great talk.
Thank you.
Engaging and everything. Thank you. I took some photos because I was on the tweet. So.
Yeah. Thanks.
You were talking about skins not having a value outside the game. But we were talking just before about things like skin gambling. So that is changing. You know, and some of those products are opening and closing. But you know, the skins in some games can be sold to other people for money.
In Fortnite or other games?
In other games.
Yeah. Like Counter-Strike Global Offensive is one of those ones. Yeah.
So, you know, it depends on whether those mechanisms are in place, but certainly in those situations, that does seem to close the loop in terms of being a gambler.
Yeah, I mean...
And then they can use the gambling later, so it's kind of double gambling.
Yeah.
Have you experienced anything, like you're focusing on Fortnite in this talk, but have you experienced much of that in your practice?
Yeah, I have kids stealing their parents' credit card money. I think Ethan, did I have it on the slide? He actually stole money from his mother. I think he stole up to $1,000 on skins. I don't think it's a routine question that I ask, unless I know that that specific game, like Global Offensive, has a third-party platform where you can gamble, so it doesn't really come up. I don't think it's, I see a lot of younger kids, I guess, with Fortnite. But certainly if I come across a young person and they're playing a game I have no idea about, I'll do a quick Google search, I'll look at the Australian classification guidelines, and then I'll look at the Game Critters Forum and do a search on the specific game mechanics. And but there was an Australian 730 report on esports skins gambling, and that was very fascinating. So that it is a problem in Australia. Yeah, but I haven't specifically come across it as a major problem. And I think the key thing is that, you know, the governments can be banning loot boxes and all this sort of things, but all the games are designed in different ways, and they're not all created equal. So it makes it very